330 divided by the 5 numbers that are there, the average is about a 66, which is not really that great. Let's take a minute and try to calculate everything we can on this. What's the minimum? Quarter 1. If the median or the average is about a 66, the median is here. So the median is 73. We don't count the 73. We need to find the middle between 39 and 50. So if I average those two together, I get 44.5. The third quartile is the average between 78 and 90. I believe that's 84. Let me just double check. Okay. And the maximum is 90. And I do want to go one step further, and I want to find the standard deviation. The standard deviation is that one where we have to make a chart. 39, 50, 73, 78, 90. You take the number and subtract the mean. And then you take that value and you square it. So 39 take away 66 is negative 27 times negative 27 equals 729. 50 take away 66 is negative 16. Negative 16 times negative 16, 256. You can try completing the rest of the chart. And the standard deviation is where you sum all this together. And this is the value of the variance divided by n minus 1, which is 4. And then we square root it to get the standard deviation. So pretty soon we're going to learn how to put all this into our calculator and figure out the standard deviation in just a couple of steps using our calculator. Now the title of this is The Effect of Adding or Subtracting a Constant Has on a Set of Data. So let's say I was going to curve this test, and I might actually take our first test and curve it as well. And I've talked about adding a set number. Let's say I want there to be 100. Someone needs to score 100 on my test. So this person who got a 90, I want to move them up to 100. I'm going to add 10 to their score. But to be fair, I'm going to add 10 to everybody's score. So I'm going to change the 39 to 49. I'm going to change the 50 to 60. The 73, I'm going to give them an 83. The 78, I'm going to change them to 88. And the 90, I'm going to finally have my person who I'm going to give 100. So I'm just going to change their grade to these 10 points higher. What effect does it have on all this data? Does it change anything? I'm sure it's going to change the mean. Do you think it's going to change the mean by 10 points? Or do you think the mean will change by something different? Take a minute and calculate it. So when I sum this together, I got 380, and when I divide it by 5, I got 76. So when I added a constant, my mean changed by that constant. And it does make sense because everything's getting 10 points higher. So when I average it, it's going to be 10 points higher. The min is now 10 points higher. What about these values? I know my max is 10 points higher. My median is now 83. Well, it was 73, so it's 10 points higher. My quarter 1, or my quartile 1, is in between 49 and 60. So if I average between the two there, I'm going to get 54.5, 10 points higher from my original data. Quarter 3 is going to be 94, 10 points higher. My standard deviation, I do want to go through this again and try to find out what's going to happen between this. If it's 49, 50, 73, 60, 83, 88, and 100 now. 49 minus, the mean now is 76. So the difference between them, if there's any shortcuts that I can find, I'll do it. And you know what? When I subtract it, I get negative 27. When I times it by another negative 27, I get 729. So I'm going to get 256, 49, 144. All of these differences squared are going to be the same thing. So when I add them up, I'm going to get 1754. And actually, all my work is going to be right here. I still have the same number of n minus 1. It's going to be divided by 4. So the standard deviation is going to remain unchanged. It doesn't go up by 10. I wonder why that is. Think about it. When you look at this, the standard deviation measures the spread of the data. A bigger spread means a bigger number. Well, the numbers are still spread out the same way. We're just increasing them by 10. So that's why the standard deviation has remained unchanged. So when you add, and if we were to subtract 10, we'd find the same results. When you add or subtract a constant, the mean, min, max, quartile 1, quartile 3, median, are all increased by that same amount. The standard deviation remains unchanged. And if we just take a look at the interquartile range between the two, originally was about 39.5. Let's see the effect between 94 and 54.5. That's also 39.5. So standard deviation remains unchanged, and so does the interquartile range. Remains unchanged.